Hey mama, do you feel like there's more that you're missing? That you are constantly living in overwhelm with all the things on your to-do list and feeling like you are made for more? Or have a mission or purpose bigger than what you are living right now? I used to feel that way too. This is why I created this podcast to provide you with the Mompreneur Toolkit full of marketing, messaging, and motivation to reignite your passion and business. So in today's value-packed episode, I'm going to walk you through all of those questions that you have so you can stop being overwhelmed and step into your own power and realize that you can actually uncover more to your mission. Welcome to the More to Motherhood podcast. If you have a calling on your heart to play bigger, to impact more people with your business, mission, or the team that you've created, but you can't seem to get there, then this is the perfect podcast for you. Together, we will rise by smashing the glass ceilings and stepping into our greatest potential. Hi, I'm Kristen, busy wife and mama of 3, top 1% network marketer, and your new sassy best friend. I believe that as a busy mom boss, you have what it takes inside of you to be an incredible mom and an empowered businesswoman. If you're ready to do the work, I'm ready to be your BFF and mentor you on this journey to help you create your 6-figure side hustle and beyond. It's time to uncover the more inside of your motherhood. Let's do this. I am so happy you are here, Mama. And since you are here listening right now, why not be a part of my sisterhood, a community full of like-minded women and mamas motivating each other to rise and live out their best lives. Don't miss out. Head on over to bit.ly/more to motherhood. That's bit.ly/more2to motherhood. Meet you over there. Okay, now let's dig into today's show. Welcome to episode 1, the very first episode of the More to Motherhood podcast. I am so excited you're here today. Today, I'm really going to get a little vulnerable with y'all and share how I was forced into the mindset of success. And I had to make a decision to choose between my children, and I hope that this can help inspire and instill hope. So, what really pushed me into the mindset of success? Well, first of all, let me back up and tell you who I am. So, I'm a mama of 3 children. My kids' names are Caleb, Avery, and Riley, 11, 5, and 2 at the time of this episode recording. And basically, I was that mom that was living the overwhelmed life. I was working full-time. I was working 2 jobs. I was practically working 60 hours a week. And my husband also works a crazy schedule, full-time job in food and beverage. And so having 3 kids, y'all know that it is expensive, right? And it's just so crazy. And so after I had my 3rd baby, which is Riley, little Riley baby, we call her, I found myself struggling. I knew that I had this calling on my heart for more, but I always felt too guilty to jump in and take that leap because I have kids, right? And I'm already working full time and I'm already doing so much. How can I possibly add something else without taking away something from my children, right? And so I don't know if any of you know, but you're going to find out a little bit more about me as we go on this journey. But my 11-year-old son, Caleb, is on autism spectrum disorder. And so at the time, I was 6 months postpartum after Riley. I was really struggling. I was having such a hard time in my personal life, even my marriage. Like, I just felt like I should have been so happy because I was so blessed to have this beautiful, healthy baby. But I was really struggling, you guys. I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of feelings of sadness and depression, and I just felt stuck. I was like, how am I supposed to continue working all of these hours? Like, I just couldn't keep trading the dollars for the hours, essentially. And so there came a point where we were living paycheck to paycheck every single morning. I would wake up and just check my bank account being like, oh my gosh, are we going to make it this week? Because we had the 2 girls were in daycare and my son was getting therapies. And even though, insurance and everything, it just was a lot of expenses. And so it was at that moment that I really came to this point in my life where I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do something. This part of me that is called for more, like, it's now or never. Like, I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and I have to take this leap. I was so scared. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to add it to my plate. But on top of that, you guys, I didn't even have really a maternity leave with my 3rd baby. And I wanted to create more time with my kids. So I just decided to go for it. So I was basically forced into this mindset of success because at that point, it was right before Christmas of 2018. And I had done other network marketing businesses before and nothing ever panned out. But I had this feeling, this calling in my body, this gut feeling, which I always say is God's whisper. And I was like, I just have to go for this. I have to figure it out. So what really caused me to get to this point, right? Well, I had my 2 girls in daycare and I actually had to take the therapy away from my son. And I get a little choked up saying that because I mean, I felt so guilty. I had to take something from my son that he needed to be successful, and I couldn't provide that for him anymore. And I basically felt like I was choosing between my children. And we had to pull the therapy from my son because I had to continue to work full time, and those girls needed to go to daycare. So it was at that moment that I was like, okay, this is it. I'm jumping in, all in. And so what I started doing was I did a couple of things, really. I decided that this was going to work for me this time. I made that commitment to myself. I'm like, no matter what, I'm going to research something. I'm going to find out what this calling is and how I can provide for my family and give them what they want, while not taking away so much time from my family, right? I'm just going to have to figure it all out. And we're going to get into time blocking and how do I juggle all of these things, right? But basically, I just had to go for it. So you guys probably have a similar story, but when I made this decision and I researched a bunch of companies, I found the company that I wanted to join for network marketing because I just felt like that was what I wanted to start with. You know, I didn't have much money to invest, obviously, because we were living paycheck to paycheck. And I was like, you know, stressing out every morning that I checked my bank account, wondering if we had enough money in there, right? So I went with network marketing, and I had done other companies in the past. 4.5 years, I struggled with network marketing, but I decided that this time was going to be different, you guys. And I felt it in my bones and my body and everything. And so I made that leap, and I talked to my husband, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. And well, actually, didn't really go that way. I actually didn't tell my husband, and he saw the products on the counter and he's like, so what's this? You're doing Thrive? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh my gosh. He's like rolling his eyes at me. He's like, oh, why are you doing this again? Because remember, I had 4.5 years. I had done other companies and done other things and never really made more than a couple $100, which a couple $100 is life changing. But for me, I just wanted more than that, right? I wanted to impact more people. So he rolled his eyes at me and he was like, I don't know why you choose this business model. I don't know why you do this. And I was like, okay, well, what's it going to take for me to show you that this is different? And I had said that before, right? We've all said that before, but I knew this time was different. And he's like, well, earn that car that you said that you're going to earn. And I was like, okay. So 3 weeks later, I earned that car. And from there, it just kind of grew. And, you know, it's been an amazing adventure, but it didn't stop there, you guys. And that's why I created this podcast, is because I hear so many stories from so many women asking, how are you doing all of this? How are you working full time, being a present mom, an amazing mom, and still being a successful businesswoman? And I'm here to tell you that you can have both. And I'm going to cut out all the mistakes that I made. I'm hoping that I'm going to inspire you and motivate you along the way, and share with you really what I did to have the success that I had without sacrificing time with my children. That doesn't mean that in the beginning I was perfect, because I definitely did sacrifice some time with my children and I regretted that. And so I want to teach you all the mistakes that I made. I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to give you the tactical how-tos, the motivation, the inspiration, and we're going to go on this journey together because I know that you guys are called for more, and that's what brought you to this podcast, right? So I'm so excited that you guys are here to learn with me and just go on this adventure, because I am confident that when we band together, we can truly rise into our purpose and make our passion and our purpose a paycheck. And so this success that I had from network marketing really grew into wanting to motivate women and wanting to share how I could do all of these things with a family, with a full-time job, which I love, and I'm still working full-time. So I'm still in the trenches with y'all that are working, and also, you know, have less stress and spend more quality time with my kids and be able to provide those therapies without having to double check my bank account has been so rewarding. So before we go, what I want you guys to do is I want you to ask yourself, what do you feel like you're called for more? Like, what are you passionate about? For me, I was passionate about health and wellness, and I had been looking for companies to help my son, all the while neglecting myself. And so here's the other piece too, before we wrap up, that I have seen so many women say, oh my gosh, I have this calling on my heart. I really want to do this. I don't think I'll have time. My husband won't, agree with me or won't support me, or what are my friends going to think of me, right? And we're going to get into that in the next episode. But ask yourself, what do you want? And why do you want to go after that? Why do you feel like you have this calling on your heart? And don't ignore it. I'm telling you, don't ignore it, because I have heard so many stories of women saying, well, I'll go after my dreams, later, or I'm too busy right now, or my kids are in school, so when my kids get older. There's never going to be a perfect time, mama. There's never going to be a perfect time. And we can make all the excuses in the world. But what I want you to ask yourself right now is, what if you don't go for it? Are you going to have regrets? And I want you to know that if you have that passion in your heart, I want you to, explore it. I want you to ask yourself these hard questions. And what I would love for you to do, since you're already here learning with me, come into the community, my Facebook community, and just ask questions and learn and partner and bond with the women in this community. It's so incredible and amazing and supportive, and you're going to get more of me, more motivation, but don't ignore that calling on your heart, mama. I know that you were called for more. So I'm so happy again that you have joined me here on this podcast, and I hope that you love it. Please feel free to leave me a review and jump into my Facebook community. Be a part of my sisterhood with so many like-minded women and mamas motivating each other to rise and live out their best lives. I don't want you to miss out, and I'm definitely going to be seeing you in there. So head on over to bit.ly/more-to-motherhood. That's bit.ly/more-to-motherhood. And I will see you guys in there. Thank you so much for joining me, and have an amazing day. So adjust your crown, mama, and just know that you can have it all and you were made for more. Until next time. Hey mama, real quick before you go, if this episode helped you in some way, or you got value or learned something new from today's episode, or you just feel more inspired right now, the number one way that you can thank me is to leave me a 5-star written review. That is the number one thing I ask for showing up for you guys each week, is a quick written review right over on the Apple Podcast app. I'd be so grateful. Thank you so much for being here. Just know that you can create the life of your dreams and turn your passion and purpose into your paycheck. Until next time, mama, don't forget, you are called for more.